Hello viewers, welcome back to the lab. This is going to be probably the start of a series of videos detailing another bit of Quantel history. This is going to be all about the Quantel HAL. The HAL was a very significant machine for Quantel in the early 1990s, and it's definitely one that I would love to have in my little collection. But before we get started, I just want to thank PCBWay for sponsoring this episode. PCBWay make PCBs, that's not unsurprising, but it's what they do with them and how well they do it, which is the really great part. I've used PCBWay myself on little projects, and all the stuff they've produced for me has been absolutely awesome. So I can highly recommend them. They also have a number of competitions and things going on their website as well, so it's well worth checking out PCBWay. And let's not forget my channel patrons who have continued to support me over the years that I've been running. Thank you very, very much for all of your support. If you want to become a patron yourself and help me keep restoring machines like these, then there will be links in the video description. So what I want to do in this video is basically give you an introduction into what the Quantel HAL actually is, what it can do, and why I want to restore one. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to rearrange the camera so you can see various parts of this as I talk about the machine and roughly how it works. So as you can see, I have a Quantel HAL here in the lab, and I do want to get one of these machines up and running, but there's a number of issues. What I'm going to talk about first is what the Quantel HAL actually is. A little bit of a history lesson. The paint box, the original one, the DPB, that was launched in 1982 or 1981, depending on how you want to look at it. That was the start of the whole paint box saga. It started off from the DPB, and then later on there was extensions to that original paint box. They would have been things like the Quantel Harry. So if you had a Quantel Harry and a Quantel paint box, it would allow you to do non-linear editing with video, and also do compositing with that video as well. So that was the Quantel Harry, and that was in 1987. So as you can see, we're starting to get up towards the 1990s, and they are now working with machines that can actually do real-time video. Now, Quantel had always wanted to do something better than what Harry was. The machine that they wanted to make was the Quantel Henry, but at the time they couldn't really do it with the technology they had in sort of the late 1980s. That changed somewhat in the early 90s. That was when they started to be able to have enough technology to actually make the machine that they wanted to make. And that eventually became the Henry. From the Henry, you also had the edit box. Now, at the same time as this, we also had the Quantel Harriet. Now, you might recognise that name because I've got one here. I have picked up a Quantel Harriet some time ago. Now, the Quantel Harriet is the new style of paint box, so not the DPB, it's now the V series, coupled together with a RAM storage device to allow you to do animations. It's only short, it's only about 13 seconds of video that you can actually animate. Now, Harriet turned out to be actually quite popular, even though it could only do short animations and things like that. But it was killed off when HAL arrived. So what HAL allows you to do is quite a lot of the things that you can do on a Henry, but it doesn't do them as fast. And there are some other limitations as well. So what ended up happening is the HAL came out, and it pretty much meant that the Harriet was kind of redundant. It wasn't really worth buying it. You might as well just buy a HAL. So that's a bit of the brief history of how HAL arrived. It's basically a cheaper version of a Henry. So if you didn't have the big wonga to go and buy a Henry, you could have gone off and bought yourself one of these. No idea how much these cost. It's so hard to get pricing. I'm going to guess around about 150 grand, a guess. Right, now what makes a HAL a HAL? A HAL is a Quantel paint box. It's based on V-Series, so it's the same sort of architecture that the V-Series paint boxes are based on, as in the type of cards that they're actually plugged in. These are all standard sizes, and it's kind of standardized. The back planes carry the same signals as all the other machines, so to a certain degree some of the cards are interchangeable. So the V-Series was basically a system rather than an actual single machine. It's like a family. So as I said, this is a Quantel paint box with video capability. In addition to that, it also has keying abilities as well, so you can actually composite 2 layers of video together. You couldn't do that on Harriet because it is literally just a very plain video storage device. It has no key or anything like that, so you can only take a background image and then animate something on top of it. But with HAL, you can actually have video on top of video, whereas on Harriet you can only have animation on top of video. What I mean by animation is in you could actually have a cutout and you can actually move it in like a DVE move, but the content of that thing would be static. It's just a plain static image. Whereas HAL, you can actually start bringing in video, and it feels much more of a modern editor. You can actually have picture-in-picture effects and spin them around and shoot them off and distort them and do all sorts of weird things. And you can do that over multiple layers. So you can actually have up to 99 objects actually on the screen. So theoretically that means you could actually have 99 video clips all together composited onto one thing. Now generally you wouldn't really use it like that, but it does allow you to have multi-layers of compositing and things like that. And the key feature is really awesome, because it means then you can now start using blue screen, and you can actually shoot footage against a blue screen, key out what you want, and then composite it onto other bits of video. There's a number of other things which HAL can do which you can't do on a regular paint box. Options for keyframing various functions are enabled in HAL. So that means you can do things like color correction over a video clip. So I don't just mean like one settings, you can actually have it change and alter throughout the clip using keyframes. And there's a number of the effects and things that you can do using those keyframes to actually start building up your animation. So you can also already see it's a much bigger box than a paint box. There's a lot more in it. It's now changed to this sort of 2-layer design. You've got the cards in here and then the top bit. So there is actually a bit of a burning question some of you might be asking, and that is, where does it store the video? Now you've got to remember this is early 1990s, but we are dealing with full frame video, which is 720 by 576 for the PAL regions at 25 frames per second. So once you start multiplying that up, you're actually working with quite a lot of data for the time. Compared to today's standard, it's pretty tame. But in terms of what HAL's going to be dealing with, it's going to need about 165 megabits per second of storage. That actually works out to needing about 20 megabytes per second of video, and that has to be reliable 20 megabytes per second. It can't be, yeah, it'll hit 20 megabytes per second 99% of the time. It has to be 100%, so you're going to need a margin well over that. Now the way Quantel did it is they developed a disk storage array called the DL. The DL is a separate box to this. It contains 20 1GB hard disks and a very large control board, and it basically accesses all of those disks in parallel. So as frames are read in and out, spreads all the data across all of the disks. So that obviously multiplies the bandwidth available to us by a huge amount, by 20 times. So there is the Dylan, which would sit either on top or underneath HAL when it was in its engineering rack, and would provide all the video storage for the HAL. So that stores all the video and the key information. The audio is actually stored on the HAL itself. The Dylan you will see in a future video. That's going to be a serious issue in terms of trying to get this machine running, but we'll go into that at the time. Right, so let's start showing you a little bit of the actual machine. So in this top part we have a board here which connects out to all the video inputs and outputs. It has analog video and SDI digital. That is all catered for on a separate card. In the middle here we've got a massive big power supply. I can't remember how many watts that is. It's going to be quite a lot. There at the back we have the back plane which goes right down into the machine, and these are all the power connections. So obviously you can see it does consume quite a bit of juice to run this machine. You can see two 3.5-inch SCSI hard disks here. One is the system disk and one is the shared disk, the network drive. In this corner we've got an MO disk included as standard, which you didn't normally get on the paint box. Then right at the side we've got all the cards that can be unplugged. So let's have a look at the actual hardware. So as I said, this is based on the V series system. So you're going to have in the top a standard V series CPU card. This is the later one because this particular HAL is a HAL Express. They had some pretty significant upgrades in the mid 1990s, which is when this machine actually dates from. So that is the CPU card. I'm not going to go into a massive amount of detail on the cards that are in this machine, because we're probably going to be looking at those in future videos as I inevitably find problems and issues on them. So they will get spoken about in detail in separate videos. But to give you a rough idea, there is pretty much a standard Quantel paint box in here. We've got the CPU card, netcom, disk store, main store, and we've got the image manipulation card, which would be like, in a paint box, that would be something like the perspective card. But in this, it's upgraded. There's also cards in there for doing audio processing, because this can now do audio. And we also have 3 cards in here as well, which deal with the communication between the HAL and the Dylan disk array. So the two machines are plugged together with one of these enormous cables. So there's a couple of cards in there which handle that. And there's a couple of video processing cards that have actually come from Henry. They were put into the HAL as upgrades in effect, because I said before, this is a HAL Express. So there's a couple of cards in there which specifically deal with keying and processing actual video data. So that is a brief tour of a Quantel HAL. As I said, there's going to be a lot more of these videos. It's probably going to be on the similar sort of lines as the DPB 7001 restoration. It might even get a bit more complicated than that because the Dylan disk array is going to be an issue. So that will get discussed in a future video. So what I'm going to be doing next is I will be removing quite a lot of the things out of this box. I'll probably give it a little bit of a clean. I want to turn on the power supply and hopefully it won't burst into flames or anything like that, and that will prove the power supply is working, and then I can start plugging things back in and actually powering them up and actually see where we get to. So I will bring bits up slowly, so I'll probably try and boot the CPU card first with nothing else plugged in, just to see where we get. So as I go through and make progress, I will make update videos like I did with the DPB. You might not see too much of the actual work that I do. I find these machines are so complicated, it's very, very difficult to be able to concentrate on what you're doing and also have a camera over your shoulder. So as I make progress, I'll make an update video. Okay, if you made it this far, thank you very, very much for listening to me waffle on about the Quantel HAL. Thank you to all my patrons. As I said before, I wouldn't be here making these videos without my patrons. And thanks again to PCBWay for sponsoring this episode. Thanks for watching, everyone, and I will see you probably very soon with an update on the Quantel HAL. Bye for now.